Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This is Katie. Today I thought I'd share a layout and a process video that I created using this cute sketch I pulled from Pinterest. I want to start off by pulling a page from my VICKIE BOUTIN Foundations paper pad. I love this paper, it's so thick. It holds up to mixed media products really well. So I'm going to start off by using some white gesso, lay that down, and we'll be using the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Love Story collection today. And I have this cute Bo Bunny rose gold glitter paste that I got a couple months back, and I haven't had a chance to use it yet, so this seemed like the perfect time to use that. The glitter in this paste gel is just so sparkly, and it goes on really well. So we're gonna put that through the stencil, apply it directly on top of the page after it's dried, after the gesso's dried, and that's going to allow us to use some mixed media products and get lots of water on this page without it ruining our page. I'm just showing you the frame there that I've decided to use from the collection. We'll add a picture to that in a little bit. But I'm going to apply some SHIMMERZ paints now. And I love these watercolor paints from SHIMMERZ because they just have the best colors, and I can always find something to match my projects by going into my SHIMMERZ stash. And I like to watch the way that other creators use their products, and I learn from them. I use them in several different ways. I don't always use a paintbrush. Here today I'm using a paintbrush. I will also list all the colors for you below in the description, but I believe the one that I started out with is an INKLINGZ. Nope, I take that back. It was a CREAMEEZ called Refreshment. And then I added an INKLINGZ called Emerald City. And in a minute, I'm going to do another INKLINGZ called Giddy About Green. And I love their colors. That is one of my favorite things about SHIMMERZ. The colors are so creative. The names are. And after these greens, I'm going to dab some of that up just because that went on a little heavier than I wanted it to. So we're going to dab up a little bit of that darker color. And I told you wrong a minute ago. The darker color is the Emerald City, and the one I added right before that was the Giddy About Green. So I flip-flopped those. But we're going to continue by putting some more paints down, and I'm going to pick up with the pinks here. So this first pink that I'm using is Lover's Lip, and that's a gorgeous dark pink. That's probably my favorite of these pinks. It just lays down so nice, and it's really bold, but such a pretty color. We're going to blend some of this together without trying to make them too muddy. Then the second pink that I'm gonna use is a SHIMMERZ, and it is called Pinko de Mayo. It's a really pretty pink as well, but as you can see, it's a lot more subdued than that Lover's Lip. It's almost got a lavender hue to it, but oh so pretty, and it blends really well with the others. So I'm just turning my page, trying to keep the water from running everywhere. I'll dab a little bit up here and there. I'm going to go for a third color here. And this one is a CREAMEEZ called Piggy Pink. It's a very light pink. I'm not trying to overpower these other colors. I just want to bring the color out a little farther so that everything isn't covered up. I want to have some lighter hues around the edges. Add some splatters. Everybody loves their splatters. I do too. So keep going with that. Moving it around with the brush. Take a little to the top corner there where I plan on having a cluster of embellishments eventually. And I love the way that these colors in the water will pool and run around the raised edges of the stencil. That's one of the reasons I love using a stencil and then watercolors on top, because you get some really good depth and it blends really well in the empty spaces between the stencil. But I love the way that looks. It makes it just very interesting. Dab up a little more here and there. Do y'all's pages get as saturated as mine do? I feel like sometimes the water is so hard to control, but I just can't stop doing it because I love the way that it pools, and there's just no other better way to blend, in my opinion. Let's hold that frame over and see if we're liking where this is going. I do think I like it so far. Our next pink is this INKLINGZ called Hot Stuff. It's very pretty too. It has a lot of shimmer behind it because of the fact that it's an INKLINGZ. It's got some gold behind it. I think we're just about done with our mixed media portion here and building the background. Sometimes it takes me longer than the rest just to get all the mixed media work done, but I like to be able to see a little bit of each of those colors because it really pulls out the colors in the collection. There's some really pretty pinks and greens in this Simple Stories collection. I just love it. So add a bit more splatters. Trying to let some of this dry in between so it doesn't get too muddied. You can still see pretty much all the individual colors. That top portion up there needed some green, so we're gonna add in some greens. Kind of fill in the gaps. Spread the color out. I like to be able to see each of the colors in all the areas that are peeking out from behind the photos and ephemera once you get everything added. Surprisingly enough, when you add these pinks on top of the greens, they don't cover it up completely. I was really surprised at how well that they blended. Kind of makes a more purpley hue, but it turns out really pretty after it dries. Then last but not least, we have some gold splatters. Who can go wrong with gold splatters? This is actually an older product that I keep in my stash. I love these glimmer mists. This one's from an older company called Tattered Angels. I don't even know if they are still in production anymore, but I do love their mists. They have a really nice shine to them. So now that everything's dried, I'm going to pull out all of the embellishment pieces that I'm considering for the page. I'm a sucker for butterflies, so a lot of my pages will always have butterflies. I'm just going through some of the embellishment packs here. I love this typewriter because, well, the name Love Story. And there you can see the title. Kind of is very fitting to use a typewriter. And the color works really well. There's another one that I'm going to end up using that's almost identical to this pink typewriter, but it's a green, and I just really wanted to pull in a green down there at the bottom. I'm toying around with using that chipboard piece up at the top there that they lived happily ever after. I end up not using that though. So we're going to pull that off. We'll move on to some of the other embellishment packs, and really all I'm doing is just pulling out stuff, holding it up, putting it on, thinking about it. I like all of these, so sometimes it's really hard to make up your mind. But I do so eventually. I love that ink pen right there. I like the paintbrush too, but because we're using a typewriter, I figured the ink pen was a little more fitting, and it's a little more substantial of a piece. I like the different pink hue. It's kind of a corally, peachy pink instead of a bright pink. Pull out some bigger pieces just for layering. Gonna play around and audition them here and there. See where I like them. I do like these tags here. I like that the one looks like it has a staple in the top. I'll end up roughing up the edges of those here in a minute, just with a pair of scissors. It's pretty easy to do. For some reason, my fingernails do not hold up to roughing up edges. So I've taken everything off the page. I decided I wanted a border, so I pulled out one of the papers from the Basics pack. I believe this one is the sage green. Gutted it because, you know, we always gut our pages. If you're a paper hoarder like I am, you want to save every little piece you can. And here I've added some gold stitching off camera. I like the double stitch and I like it to look kind of wonky, imperfect. Now we're going to add some rub-ons because I love their rub-ons. Can't get enough of them. We're going to add them in 3 different spots around the page. I like these hearts. I like the dark contrast of the darker pinks. Kind of pulls your eye around the page. I'm looking for a piece to go behind that little postage stamp right there. And I think I'm settling on this pink flower, which is so pretty, but adds just the right touch. So we'll get those rub-ons in place here in a second. And after we do that, I'm going to take a glance over at my sketch that we're using today. And I'm going to realize that I need a strip to kind of anchor this whole layout. I want something to go underneath the title and have a good spot for all of this to rest on. But these rub-ons go on so nice, so smooth. I almost had to question whether or not I had it down enough because I think I ripped one of them in a tiny spot, which you'll see in the close-ups. But now I'm moving on to realizing I need a strip. And I like that one scallop border piece from the cardstock sticker sheet, but it's not quite big enough. So I decided I'm gonna make my own. Pull out the B side of this cut apart page. And I don't wanna waste much, so we're gonna do a little bit of cut and piece here. I'm gonna use half and half of that. I don't know if anybody remembers these or not. These are kind of old. It was an older American Crafts product. It's a punch set where you have a base and all of these different punch cartridges that you can interchange. So I'm just gonna practice, make sure I have that lined up right. Looks like I do. Oops, missed a spot. Go back and get that and decide that's good enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and punch my border piece. I like this dark floral. It's almost too busy for a full, background, but adds just the right amount of darkness and florals to be able to use it as a strip. And it does give a really good anchoring spot. So I'll get this taped on. My tape runner's being super fidgety today. I'm going to piece it together because you won't even be able to tell that you have a seam in the middle of that. It's going to kind of be covered up by a portion of the title. Oops, I have one more rub-on that I didn't completely get laid down, so let's do that real quick before we attach that border piece. Pull everything off. Oh, there's where I change out the green typewriter. You can see that. We'll get this scallop piece laid down. I love these T-square rulers because Lord knows I cannot get anything straight on my own. But that appears to be good enough. And off camera I go and I stitch that down. I'll add some more gold stitching across there and pull up the edges. And this is just some fun foam. I think a lot of people use this foam. I get it at Walmart. It comes in big packs. It's fairly inexpensive, but it's just the right thickness. So get that picture in place. This is actually a picture of my husband and I on an anniversary outing. We try to go away for our anniversary every year. Doesn't always work out, but sometimes we get lucky and it does. This time it did. It was our anniversary is in March, so this was really fitting for a February Valentine's Day layout. Falls right before our anniversary. But on this trip, we had gone down to Atlanta. We live in Georgia, and so we get away to the city every now and then. And here we're staying at the Omni, and we went out to have a nice dinner at Ruth's Chris. It's one of our favorite places. So get those tags roughed up around the edges and get them in place. Kind of fidget with them a little bit. I found this nice, pretty floral piece to use right in that empty spot. I'm trying to spread out the darker pink around the page. And I always like to use odd numbers. So you can see the 3 hearts there along the edge of the frame. And then to mimic those 3 hearts, I wanted to do 3 spread around the page. So just getting everything glued down. Sorry for my head. That pen, I'm going to pop it up on some foam again, and I think I'm going to change the orientation of it. I like that you can see the shadow along the bottom there, but I like even more the tip of the pen pointing to the right, because my page orients kind of from, it flows from the top left of the page to the bottom right of the page. I just thought that having it pointed to the right flowed better. So here I'm going to get my butterflies in place, ruffle up their wings. I like them to look like they're flying off the page. So to do that, add some foam on the outside and add glue only to the center of the wing when you put that down. And that'll keep them from going all the way flat when you put them in your albums. So I'm going to pull up the sticker sheet, see if there's anything on here that we want to use. I find that little postage stamp piece that's got a postmark on it, and that's a good spot for it there at the top. I know it kind of blends in, but you can see it much better in person. I'm going to take a powder tool and get the sticky off the edges just to make sure it doesn't get stuck down around the edges, because I want it to be popped up. I want to see that shadow around it. Then I find this pink postage stamp to go right there, and I like that it has a butterfly going in the same direction, looking like it's flying off the page. And here we're going to pick up the decorative brads, and I love these sets. They're different from adding sequins, which I do love sequins also, but these with the metal rim really stand out. And that one's got a green bird on it, which I love a bird on a page about love. It makes me think of lovebirds. So now we're going to add some enamel dots to finish out these trios. Sometimes I like them all to be the same, like 3 enamel dots just in varying sizes, and sometimes I like to mix and match them with the brads. So today we're mixing and matching. And I cannot choose one color, so we're going to use one of each of the colors, just in different sizes. Sometimes they flip over on me. But that does it. That's the end of our process, and there's the final page, and here's some close-up videos for you at the end. I did finish off with some more gold splatters off camera. I just felt it needed a little bit more. And I added that teal Forever sticker from the cardstock sticker sheet. But thank you so much for joining me today. This was my first process video, so I was a little nervous about putting it up, but I think it turned out well. Hopefully you like it too. These products are just gorgeous. I love this collection. I can't say enough good things about it. But I hope you'll consider coming back and joining me soon. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.